And welcome back to Poetry Lockdown. We're up to day 236. So, a lot of these videos have been I'm interested in the intersection between faith and the imagination, and especially in what I would say of like reinvigorating texts from the scriptures, which can sometimes, I'm speaking for myself, for me, they can sometimes feel like I don't recognize what is powerful or distressing or disturbing or nourishing because I've heard or read the words so many times they don't strike me anymore. Apologize. That's our dog, Dasha. She's getting a little excited about something. Um, it's live. It's live. Dasha, come here. So this particular poem, Mother Eve, uh, really takes a fresh new look at a story that I've read many times since I was a kid, and I love what the poet does with it. I'm gonna grab hold of my dog, which is what I do sometimes. All right, Mother Eve by Linda Pastan. I think that's how you say her name. I looked her up, and apparently she's still writing poetry, which is awesome. At 88 years old, an American poet of Jewish background. Linda Pastan's Mother Eve. Of course, she never was a child herself, waking as she did one morning, full grown and perfect, with only Adam, another innocent, to love her and instruct. There was no learning step by step to walk, no bruised elbows or knees, no small transgressions. There was only the round, white mound of the moon rising, which could neither be suckled nor leaned against. And perhaps the serpent spoke in a woman's voice, mothering, "Oh, who can blame her?" When she held her own child in her arms, what did she make of that new animal? Did she love Cain too little or too much, looking down at her now flawed body as if her rib, like Adam's, might be gone? In the litany of naming that continued for children instead of plants, no daughter is mentioned. But generations later, there was Rachel, all mother herself, who knew that bringing forth a child in pain is only the start. It is losing them, and Benjamin so young. That is the punishment. That was Linda Pastan's Mother Eve. I love this poem for many reasons. Um, One of which is that it does what I was talking about right before reading the poem. It makes fresh a character in the scriptures that I think gets reduced. If I'm being completely honest, I think Eve gets reduced to sort of like she is the mother of everybody, and is kind of reduced to her sinning, the original sin. Like Eve gives the apple to Adam or the fruit to Adam, and that's kind of like that's just kind of how I see her in the story. And that shows my own problematic reading of the scriptures growing up. But I feel like it misses out on her fullness as a human, and I love that this poem gives the fullness of her. I also like that it recognizes, oh my goodness, Eve didn't have a mother, right? She's the mother of everyone. And she doesn't have a mother. She comes full grown and perfect, right? And so I love that it's like, oh, right, the mother of all doesn't have a mother herself, in the biblical text, anyways. Um, I also like that the poem does not spend time on the original sin, the story of that. It basically just alludes to it briefly. Perhaps the serpent spoke in a woman's voice, mothering, oh, who can blame her? But the poem isn't centered on sin or discussion of sin, right? It's on love and grief. In the second half of the poem, I love that we get Cain in her arms. What did she make of that new animal? I love that. And then this is really interesting to me, but I really enjoyed in the litany of naming that continued for children instead of plants, no daughter is mentioned. Another like wow, like aha moment for me. It's like, oh yeah, like I look back through Genesis 5, and you got man after man after man to son to son to son, and it's like, what, like how is this happening? Like there are no daughters, no women named. And yeah, for Linda Pastan to name that elision overlooking throughout like this text in travail. It's a flawed, beautifully inspired but flawed document. I think was really moving to me. And then really naming that, those punishments that are kind of named in Genesis, the effects of original sin, the losing, not the pains of childbirth, the losing of the child. That's the punishment. I just found that to be a really moving final line. So I recommend this poem wholeheartedly. It's one that I just read recently and want to keep reading because, wow, there's so much to it. So thank you, Linda Pastan, for this beautiful poem. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you have a good rest of your day and week. Peace.